You're listening to TFP, the fan's perspective.
Can you dig it?
I'm a rap liver. You can't quiver the skills.
Bring it in the old school way.
Let's get some.
Like DNA traced to function within
Here we go,
my
here
space
we
of
go.
well-being.
Oh, yeah.
It's quality. Beaming in front of you. I'm here to fill to the gap.
Once again,
Drop out
ladies
the
and gentlemen,
counterfeits and use it against
Fans
you.
Perspective.
I'm a prodigy, but
This is
evidently
episode
it ain't
100.
easy. So when I first took over,
Let me start lowering this down so you can actually hear me.
Yeah.
I can hear myself. Shout out to D on that intro right there. That is my man, Deaf Professor, half-mast. This is the Fans Perspective. I am your host, charlietrix, and I'm here with my brother.
Remise, what's good, everybody?
And we got my man.
It's your boy jhanboom was popping.
So it is Saturday, March 16th. It's St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Woo!
go.
It is actually a beautiful sunny day outside.
Yes,
the
sir.
weather's been great for the past few days. We're in good spirits.
Yes.
And we are going to bring it to you today. We got
Bring
some
the
lovely
noise.
stories lined up. How are you gentlemen feeling today? jhanboom, how you feeling today?
Yo, I'm feeling awesome, man. It's Saturday, the best day of the week, man. I'm feeling good. I'm healthy. My knees are back. Put a little icy hot the whole week. Now I'm back in the streets. And, yo, we good to go, man.
Remy say?
Yeah, looking forward to doing a good show. I've got a couple of stories, one I'm pretty hype about especially.
Pow.
And yeah, then we're off to some St. Patty's Day festivities. So let's have a good one.
All right, so we got some stories lined up. We're going to jump right into it. You know I don't like to do these long-winded intros. So first up to bat, one of the biggest stories in the news today, which is this TikTok ban that just passed the House. So I wanted to get into that, you know, for obvious reasons. It's a huge story, and you know, it's quite ridiculous if you ask me. So let me just read a little bit of information on it. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill that would force TikTok Chinese owner ByteDance to sell the app within 6 months or face a nationwide ban. The bill has broad bipartisan support, but some say it doesn't give Americans enough time to voice their concerns. That is AI-generated response to here's what I typed in: TikTok ban, and that's what it gave me. So it's a little weird. Let me just give you a couple more pieces of information. TikTok owners are likely to fight any new law in court. In 2020, Trump tried to ban the app via an executive order, but courts blocked that attempt. In January 2023, a federal judge temporarily blocked Montana's outright ban from taking effect, saying it was unconstitutional. TikTok creators say a ban would threaten their lives and livelihoods. The bill also opens up the same provisions for other foreign adversary-controlled apps, such as Temu and Shein. The bill has been met with criticism from former President Donald Trump, who has spoken out against the House effort. However, his Vice President Mike Pence has urged Schumer to bring the House bill to a vote, saying that this app is Chinese spyware and that the sale to a non-foreign adversary company is in the best interest of the American people. And I just want to add that one of the American people who's interested in buying it is Steve Mnuchin. Give me a break.
From Trump's administration.
From Trump's administration. It's funny also to read that Trump is out here speaking out against the bill when he was trying to ban it by executive order in 2020. But outside of that, they keep referring to this thing as Chinese owned and saying that this is why we have to, you know, ban it and blah, blah, blah. But when you look up the ownership breakdown for ByteDance, you see that 60% is owned by global institutional investors, which also includes some U.S. people from the U.S., Americans. 20% is owned by employees, and it's only owned 1% by the Chinese government. But in any case, it all seems like hogwash anyway, because what happens here, right? We watch all these important issues and topics get pushed aside, and Congress acts like they can't budge one way or the other. And then
This is the pressing issue that brings Congress together.
Yeah, something like TikTok, they voted like this. It came to the floor, what was it, 4 days? It had overwhelming support. Only about 65 representatives voted against it. 50 Democrats, 15 Republicans. Insane.
And here's the thing, like, if it's so dire that they're collecting data, the data that they're collecting on this, then I'm not sure I want any of these other social media companies to have access to my data. I don't know if I want, just because a new American company is going to buy it, why should they have access to all that data? Then if it's so crucial, change the regulation, make regulations and laws that limit the collection of all that sensitive data and protect the American people and their privacy from everyone, not just the one.
Yeah, exactly. If the thing is, if this was about data, then it should impact all
about
social
spying.
media companies.
Crazy.
A lot of the pushback that you are hearing from people are saying that this is from a heavy AIPAC push because there's a lot of pro-Palestinian content that comes out of TikTok. I don't know how supported that is, but I can tell you that there is a lot of good accounts on TikTok showing the pro-Palestinian position. So you can definitely find more of that on TikTok. And I wouldn't be surprised if AIPAC had their thumb on the scale.
Crazy, yo. If I could get up in this real quick, man. So, as a newly U.S. citizen, jhanboom did not become a U.S. citizen to have debates if TikTok should be banned or not. You know what I'm saying? So this topic to me is bullshit. Not what Los is saying, but what the Democrats and the Republicans
right.
out here saying. There's more shit out there that's worse. You know what I'm saying? Give more money to the Asian massage establishments for better services, man. You know what I'm saying? There's bigger topics, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, keep the party going.
But yeah, so I'm sure everybody feels heavy on this one way or the other. But personally, I think the ban is bullshit.
Yeah, man.
I just think there's...
Agree with what Johnny said 1,000% as well.
If they're that concerned with any type of manipulation, there was all the drama over what Facebook had with the Cambridge Analytica scandal and all that crap. Twitter has been in and out of issues, and there's always this concern about that stuff, but they never do anything that would protect any of the information that they claim to care about. So I just don't see what banning one company or any of this has to do with, other than,
And one more thing, a little bit more serious, like Twitter turned into X. Like that new Twitter is crazy. What the explicit shit that I'm seeing on there,
oh man,
that is a motherfucking a platform that needs some type of ban and some type of restrictions, man. I don't need to log into X and see a man throw a woman out the fucking window. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
Twitter,
come on,
and like
I don't think Twitter was that
because of
it wasn't like that before, like not that open.
No,
Twitter,
and as somebody who writes, I write for Knicks Fan TV, so I actually do use Twitter a lot to engage and put my stuff out there. And yeah, it's definitely been a huge change from what you see. The amount of bots too, the amount of spam. It's been definitely worse, and I don't know how much you have to have a concern about what that content is doing to people.
Right,
but that content has definitely gotten way darker, way fouler, and way more towards some racist and nasty stuff on there.
Word.
Yeah, and Twitter has basically turned into, or X is like a half Reddit almost kind of place now. It's weird, but it just goes to say that other social media platforms have issues, and there are plenty of good accounts on TikTok that have nothing to do with politics, for all sorts of things across the board. So the whole just jump up and ban it, give them 6 months to sell it, obviously that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they haven't enforced, or made another company do this. Like, I mean, not that I've heard, not at least not in this big, getting this much publicity about it.
Word.
And the other part of that is there are content creator is now something where people make money. They pay others. People make money through this. So to have a big impact on something as big as TikTok, content creators do have to be considered the ones that, base their livelihood on, getting clicks, advertisements, all of that.
Word. Hell yeah.
So, in conclusion, The TikTok ban is trash, and we
terrible.
don't stand for it. I hope it gets smoked in the Senate, but we'll see.
The one bipartisan effort we get when finally the Democrats and Republicans come together is something that I think the majority of Americans agree is kind of dumb. And, you know,
Come on, America.
petty.
They come together a lot on wars,
That's
funding
true.
wars. Basically, all the shit Americans don't like, they seem to vote really fast on and heavily unified. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
anyway,
interesting.
let's move on. In honor of St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, for St. Patty's Day, I heard a piece of history that I had never learned in school. I had never heard about, and I found it interesting because it involved America. It was part of the Mexican-American War. So shout out to a comedian named Jack Hester, because I saw a little clip of his that made me go down this crazy rabbit hole and find out about a group of Irish immigrants who joined the American Army, and during the Mexican-American War wound up defecting to the Mexican side and are now affectionately known in Mexico as Battalion De Patricio. So yeah, let me set the stage real quick. It's 1847. The Mexican-American War is raging after America's annexation of Texas. By the end of this conflict, America would take California, Texas, New Mexico, Utah, or California, New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, and Arizona, and parts of Colorado, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and Wyoming. While the battle's going on, Colonel William S. Harney has 30 Irish soldiers who were fighting on the Mexican side at this point lined up in full view of both armies to be hung. But he makes everyone wait until they get the Mexican flag down and raise the American flag. That's when he wants to hang them. It's like this big triumphant moment. And so he's got these 30 Irish soldiers. Their hands are bound, their legs are bound, and they're basically just waiting for their fate. And as they see the Mexican flag and they're ready to get hung, they all just talk shit and cheer on the Mexican flag before they're hung. Like, they showed no respect to this dude to the end. So to make an example of them, Harney refuses to cut the bodies down even. He just leaves them up there. I believe it's the second largest mass execution in American history in a single spot.
Damn.
The execution of 38 Sioux Native Americans during the U.S. Dakota War is the largest. But reading that story made me interested in what caused these Irish soldiers to leave, to defect, and join the Mexican side, and what was the story behind it. Now, during 1845, there was the Great Hunger. That was the potato famine. It sent lots of Irish people leaving and immigrating to all across the globe, but including America. At that time, at the same time, America was practicing manifest destiny, or beginning to discuss manifest destiny, which was, it's our destiny to expand westward. That land is meant to be ours. And so you get some of these conflicts, which included the annexation of Texas. But to do all of that, the American military had to be expanded. So what did they do? They recruited these Irish immigrants as soon as they got off the boat. They basically told them, you need work, we have jobs for you, we could give you a career, and you'll become a civilian by the end of it. But these were Irish Catholics coming over, and the military was predominantly Protestant, apparently, and also had a lot of officers that didn't take kindly to immigrants. They just didn't like immigrants.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So what happened was the military officers mistreated. They discriminated against these Irish immigrant soldiers. They didn't get promotions. They were punished really harshly whenever, if they did even the most minor infraction. There was something called, I'm trying to find it here.
Irishmen's went through a lot, man.
Yeah. So,
You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot
Irish
of,
didn't have it easy.
yeah, not at all, man. You know, I
Yes,
remember
sir.
gangs in New York, man. You know, it was a battle there too.
So here it is. Bucking and gagging was a punishment commonly used by the officers as a punishment. They would tie these guys up with their feet under a stick and their arms holding their knees up. I actually have a picture of it to show how messed up it is. So I don't know if we could get this in view.
Well, I'll cut it into the shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get this up. But bucking and gagging was a way they punished the Irish soldiers when they were upset. And they did a bunch of other things that dehumanized them. They also wouldn't allow them to attend Catholic processions in church on the weekends. Sometimes they even made them go to Protestant mass. So this caused a lot of hostility. Then the Mexican-American War starts to kick off. There starts to be conflicts. And not only are the American soldiers way overpowered and doing damage to the Mexican people, but they desecrated some Catholic churches. So it became a very...
oh, the shit going down.
Yeah, it caused a lot of issues that put the Irish soldiers in a predicament.
Right on.
So the Mexican government sent out pamphlets. And I actually pulled up a quote from the pamphlet. This is from one of these pamphlets in that time. You must not fight against a religious people, nor should you be seen in the ranks of those who proclaim slavery of mankind as a constitutive principle. The religious man, he who possesses greatness of mind, must always write for liberty, and liberty is not on the side of those who establish differences in mankind, making an unhappy and innocent people earn the bread of slavery. Liberty is not on the part of those who desire to be the lords of the world, robbing properties and territories which do not belong to them, and shedding so much blood in order to accomplish their views. So that was like one of the recruiting touches. They talked to these people about how Americans had slavery, how they shared religion, and the Irish people were like, yeah, we share a religion, we're being discriminated against too, and that's how they got their recruitment on. So then they formed this army, right? They went on to build the battalion that led the artillery side of the Mexican army. And they were badasses. They did damage. At the Battle of Monterrey, they were credited for beating back multiple assaults before having to retreat. Then at Buena Vista, a group of them led a bayonet charge against heavy American artillery unit. And they won. They captured 2 tanks just charging with bayonets at these things, man. Then they took those over, and they wound up fighting all the other artillery units with this one artillery unit and holding it down for a while. So they continue to have these like major moments causing damage. And there's multiple battles to talk about, but I want to highlight the Battle of Churubusco, where they fought until their ammunition ran out. They just did not stop fighting. And we have an account from an American private at the time. His name is George Ballantine. And I wanted to mention this because it's crazy what it says. These deserters were considered a principal cause of the obstinate resistance which our troops met at Churubusco. 2 or 3 attempts of the Mexicans to hoist a white flag have been frustrated by some of them, who killed the Mexicans attempting to display it. They wouldn't let the Mexicans surrender because they wanted to keep on fighting. The large number of officers killed in the affair was also ascribed to them. As for the gratification of their revenge, they aimed at no other object during the engagement. So they went through this fight, and they didn't aim at any of the normal soldiers out there, by this account, probably exaggerated. They were just aiming at the officers. They wanted to get their get back for all the punishments, the discrimination, the bullshit they faced, so they turned into this.
That's wild. So they turned against the U.S., fought for the Mexicans.
When the Mexicans' land was being taken from them, during the Mexican-American War. And just to mention this, both Ulysses S. Grant and Abraham Lincoln were against using Manifest Destiny to take land. Grant himself served in the Mexican-American War and called it one of the most unjust ever waged by a stronger against a weaker nation. So, he was even grossed out by it.
That's wild. All right.
Crazy story, man.
That's a very nice story for St. Patrick's Day, I guess. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Not just that. So what I wanted to bring up about this is...
I don't know.
For St. Patrick's Day, it's about, these dudes were heroic. To me, I think they fought for freedom. They were against slavery. They wanted their religious freedom. And they were discriminated against, so they decided to fight. But they were taken out of our history books because, they were the bad guys. But to me, I think of all the the Confederate flags, the Confederate monuments, and things like that. And we have monuments to those people, even though they seceded and they fought against the American military. And I think in this case, these guys deserve something like that because they did some craziness. A bayonet charge against a freaking heavy artillery unit is pretty nuts.
Well, the fact that they won is
they won that fight, man. And then
nuts.
They just did damage throughout. Like at the end of this, many of them are executed, but the ones who enlisted before there was an actual declaration of war were branded and sent back to Mexico, where they were treated like heroes, it sounds like, for the most part. And they did get land. Some of them were given land. Yeah, all right. Let's give that one a shout out right now. That was a little bit darker than we thought it was going to go, but still fantastic story.
For sure.
And of course, it's real history.
History shit.
To lighten up the mood a little bit. jhanboom.
Yo, what's poppin', people? Saturday, I'm back in this bitch. Now, what I want to bring to y'all, the story that I want to bring to y'all is concerning people getting robbed. Now, I first brought you the story of the Detroit bank robber who took a Uber to the heist,
and my favorite story.
Of course, he got caught, dumbass. But anyways, this is a more smarter, honestly, an oldie but goodie story. Now, the story that I'm going to bring to you is about a gentleman by the name of Stephen Frantel, an ex-trader broker that back in 2011, he unfortunately lost his job. So, of course, having bills, prostitute money that he needs to come up with, and a bunch of other things that he needs to take care of, he needed to come up with a plan to make some money. One day, he's sitting at the park thinking, like, hey, man, what can I do to get some money? He says, you know what? I'm going to start robbing banks. But he didn't just start robbing banks. He took his time. He plotted out a plan. He scouted some of these banks. He was really in tune with this. So he became the coffee cup bank robber. So basically what he used to do is, go to the banks, slip a little note under the teller, let her know, hey, bitch, give me all the money. Take the money with him, and then he will park a couple blocks away. And now to give you a little bit of the story on Business Insider, this is how he did it. So let me give you a little bit of it, and then, we're going to get to it. So one time on that so how he kept the local police on their toes, Stephen focused on one bank at a time, choosing ones without a security guard, observing that most blue-collar men and cops cash their checks on a Wednesday. He avoided midweek heists. He also planned an escape route beforehand, making sure to park a few streets away. On the day of the robbery, he wore a disguise, usually a baseball cap, a fake mustache, and sunglasses. He slipped. This is
like very DIY stuff. It's not as complicated as I was expecting.
But I guess, right? It's less complicated, but effective.
Yeah, it worked.
He slipped larger clothes over his own and planted a coffee cup next to the dumpster near his truck. Stephen then entered the bank, selected who was deemed to be the weakest teller, and walked to the counter before passing through a handwritten note, pretty much emphasizing, hey, motherfucker, I have a gun, no funny games, no alarms. You know what I'm saying? He scored his loot, then marched to his truck, dumped his clothes, and picked off the coffee cup. And drove away. Now, while he was driving away, most cops are looking for a getaway driver. They're looking for some type of locking down all the routes. But this gentleman right here with his coffee cup and his suit underneath the disguise he had came off untouched and unscathed. Now, this dude was very successful because the simple plan was so successful that he managed to rob 10 banks and got away with about $60,000 before he was caught.
With some sunglasses, a baseball cap, and a mustache.
All right, and a coffee cup.
And a coffee cup.
Hold on, before you finish. 10 banks?
He robbed 10 successful banks.
Wait a minute.
How good was he at picking out the weakest link in the
I'm not proud of this guy at all.
Yes.
10
I'm just impressed.
Fucking banks, and you only got 60 grand?
Well, I mean, me, myself, I used to work at a bank. You know what I'm saying? I think he did it the right way because most banks, two things that he
did the small amounts.
Yeah, two things that he's doing. He's not robbing the banks during, high Well, this is the thing. At the banks, they usually drop off a large lump sum of money, right? Usually once or twice a month, which equals to about 100,000 to 150,000. They usually do that maybe a week in advance before. They do it usually like right before mid-month. First of the month when people are cashing in Social Security checks, a bank rush. So he didn't rob the banks during those times where he can get away with a lot of money, but also be at high risk of getting caught. So what he did was he waited on slower days. So probably per bank, he got away maybe $5, $10, $8,000 successfully. But now he did do over 10 banks, and he was actually getting away with it. Unfortunately, he slipped one day. The gloves that he was wearing wasn't as microscopic as he thought it would be.
Couldn't hide the fingerprints?
Couldn't hide the fingerprint. The envelope, the note he slipped, they identify his fingerprint. Bow, caught my man off the fingerprint. But as far as his strategy was, the cops couldn't get him because everything that they were looking for wasn't standard way of robbing the bank. Think about it. He has a mustache. He has a fucking baseball cap, and he's not leaving the crime scene. He's staying a couple blocks, then he's driving away with his coffee cup and his suit on. And he's a white, collar white man. You know what I'm saying? He used to work as a trader, so he had all his little suits. So you're gonna stop a man with a suit? He looks like an FBI agent. Unfortunately, my man was caught. Frantel was caught, but he was caught in 2008, 2011, and he will be out next year. So he might be back.
I think he did it the right way, though, as far as he did the whole, let me do a quick change and then hang out right here. Yeah. Right at the scene of the crime. And
sipping his Dunkin' Donuts cup.
Camouflage.
Really threw it off.
Really threw it off, man. And there's some pictures of it that we could probably load up, once we get Vamanos Digital involved in them.
Here's the thing, though.
It's just I expect so much more complexity when I hear bank robbers because of the movies that I see with the heists that they put together. And this dude was literally just pulling up, handing him a note, And I never think about that, the simple version. That's probably how it always goes.
And the simple version, he could have easily gotten away with even more money, but then, everything.
This guy's way better than the Uber.
Well, what
guy.
about the fact that, how much time is this guy going to get now? He did 10 banks, so, times 10 on everything. And then for what? 60 grand?
He's getting out next year, I thought.
Yeah, he's coming out next year. But again, $60,000, right?
16 years.
It's a terrible ratio, but I think the rush of it, the way he was getting away with it, and this is the thing, he stopped because of a fingerprint. He could have kept going. And the thing is, 2008, 2000, 60 grand back then, you know what I'm saying? It's a good.
Seems like a lot of time lost.
It feels like one of these crazy bank heists usually comes up with crazy amounts of money. You only need one instead of having to do that dude. 10 banks got him 60 grand, which is like a year's salary.
That's what I'm saying. It was like, how much time are you gonna do for a fucking average year salary? Jesus Christ, you loser! You should have just went to work for a little while.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Hey,
put in the years.
Sometimes sometimes you wanna
I'm
do
not proud of this guy at all.
Me either. But goddamn it, it's good.
He put a hat on, a mustache, and some sunglasses. He really did the most.
You know what though? No, honestly though,
that's what I like. The boldness of it.
In the spirit of the story, shout out to the dude. I mean, the Uber driver thief was.
He didn't even get one bank off.
Yeah, he was
covered in ink. And
he went for it though.
He did a terrible job.
He was like,
picked the wrong teller.
Everybody always gets caught in the getaway car. I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm gonna get an Uber. It didn't work the way he thought.
Yeah, my man didn't get.
But at least this guy was successful 10 times, so well give it to him on that.
Or was it 9 times and then?
10 and 11.
10's the max you can go.
Okay. Speaking of 60 grand being an average year salary in a lot of places, the average work week is 40 hours.
Pow.
And anytime I get a chance to talk about a 4-day work week story, I will do it. And I'm going to do that right now. And the reason I'm doing that is because this week, Bernie Sanders introduced a bill
man.
to establish a 4-day work week. And I'm just going to read a little bit out of an article from The Guardian. So Bernie Sanders introduced a bill this week to establish the 4-day work week. Studies and pilot programs have shown that 4-day work weeks can increase productivity and happiness. Given Republican control of the House and Senate split 51-49 in favor of the Democrats, however, the legislation stands little chances of success. Moving to a 32-hour work week with no loss of pay is not a radical idea, said Sanders. Today, American workers are over 400% more productive than they were in the 1940s.
Let's go.
And yet, millions of Americans are working longer hours for lower wages than they were decades ago. So they go on to say, things have got to change. A little more about the legislation. It's co-sponsored by LaPonza Butler, a senator from California, and Mark Takano, a House Democrat from the same state. Butler said the 32-hour work week act would allow hardworking Americans to spend more time with their families while protecting their wages and making sure profits aren't only going to a select few. So, outside of this article, and we've said this, in the past with every other time this comes up, people are more productive in these cases. They've shown to be more productive or, at worst case, the same productivity.
Word.
And people were happier. So turnaround went down. People were just better at what they did, and they did it with a smile on their face. So all around win-win. The companies enjoyed success with this as well. So people who are against it, screw you. You're fucking work hard till you die and rot. People, screw you. The 4-day work week, I'm behind it. I stand behind this. I know it's not going to go anywhere today, but the other thing I wanted to say, we've increased productivity by 400% since the 1940s just as human beings, getting this far with technology. AI just hit the scene. We're at a breaking point of stepping to another level of advancement, and productivity is going to become even faster. And hopefully what would happen is that productivity will make more free time for human beings to enjoy their life, not,
cause people to get pay cuts and be called lazy.
Not make more profits for the same people who are already getting all the profits. Let's use this advanced technology moment to make everybody's lives happier, but we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, there's a speech. Sean Fain gave a response. He was at a committee hearing recently. He's the auto union.
I like Sean Fain,
workers leader. He had a really good speech about this, where they accuse blue collar or just hardworking Americans of being lazy because they want to raise and they want a living wage on a 40-hour work week.
Word.
And we're at the point of having a conversation about a 32-hour work week because of the productivity, but what's happening, we're going the opposite way in some cases. So Sean Fain's someone worth looking into. He's kind of pushing for a potential general strike in 2028, is it? He wants all the unions to negotiate to have a stop at the same time across industries for the potential of a general strike if need be. And I think that's a really interesting thing. It's not something I've ever seen in my lifetime. And he's a really interesting person to listen to, and this reminded me of, he just had some interesting responses and comments.
I want to throw this out there, but I can see Sean Fain ending up being pushed hard as a presidential candidate.
Ooh.
You've already heard rumblings of it a little bit, but it's just the way he carries himself. Fighting for the working man is like fighting. It's a big position to have in this country. So
yeah, I'd like him to stay as a leader in labor and just be on that side of it, just for the sake of having that strong leadership in that area and having them fight from the union side.
People on the
people
left,
on the politics side, we need to find somebody that will, like a Bernie, that will give him enough leeway or support to get these things through. And I do think, I give credit to the Biden administration because I don't think you get a Sean Fain without some of the things that the Biden administration has done, some of their hirings as far as the cabinet goes.
Pow.
But at the same time, I think we can do even better and get him even more support and have this even go stronger. But he would have to stay on that end. I don't want to see too much on the politics side because I feel like that's such a corrupting influence on everybody that switches.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I actually I think that the left is so desperate for a hero at this point. And it's kind of that, it's like that cliche thing, you want the guy being pushed into that job who doesn't want that job to begin with. That's who you want to take that job.
He's down with Bernie though.
Well, his policies and politics are,
they echo similar sentiments.
Similar. Okay.
I don't know that he's down with everything Bernie does or vice versa, but
he better be.
But he is in line with this 4-day work week. For
okay.
Sure.
Okay.
For sure.
We would both plant them firmly on the left.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into him, because now I got all the rights to talk.
Here.
So, you know what I'm saying? I want to know who this gentleman is because if JHANboom is voting, I need to know.
Yes, sir.
JHANboom, how is
Boom.
your citizenship going?
Yo, it's going great. It's going great. Still haven't been in prison yet. I can record from a public sidewalk as much as I want. You know what I'm saying? I am talking back to people that I usually wouldn't talk back to because I was afraid of them bringing up my citizen status. So it's going great. I'm telling you, man. My company gave me a better raise. Hey, we working.
I'm very happy to hear that.
You know what I'm saying? Asian massage people recognize me all of a sudden. I don't know why.
Do they treat you different now?
They treat me better.
They treat you better now?
They give me 2 for 1.
Let's give a shout out to that. Yo, speaking of cutting hours in the work week, some companies are cutting people off their employment books. Johnny, you got a local news story you want to talk about.
You know how much I love the local news, man. If it happens in the streets, JHANboom is behind it. So I brought you stories of the mistake Red Lobster did of giving people endless shrimp. I gave we talked about Macy's, how they brought down about 1,000 stores as well to focus on the more stores that are making more money. Now, in celebration of the color green, Dollar Tree is closing down 1,000 stores. Now, you'd be like, oh, Johnny, Dollar Tree. I love the Dollar Tree. Great products at a discounted rate. $1, great place to go to. Dollar Tree is not only cutting down 1,000, but just to let you know, Dollar Tree is the parent company of Family Dollar, which is like the stepchild of Dollar Tree. Because if you ever been to a Dollar Tree, what they do is you get high quality products, but just condensed, less quality, less quantity. So me, myself, when I wash my clothes, I use Gain. Instead of getting the big bottle of Gain, I go to the Dollar Tree and I get the same Gain, but a smaller one, and I get 2, cut me down 50%. You know what I'm saying? But if you go to Family Dollar, they call Family Dollar, but when you walk in that mother, you know what I'm saying? Everything is not $1, $7, $8, $20 for products. You know what I'm saying?
Whole families of dollars necessary.
It needs an S at the end. Family Dollars.
So, and Family Dollar has unfortunately been bringing down the Dollar Tree, and they looked at their expense report, and Family Dollar has dropped down about 3 to 4% in sales. So the majority of those 1,000 stores that they're closing down, 600 of them is Family Dollar. 400 is going to be the Dollar Tree. But don't worry, people, because they're not going anywhere, because Dollar Tree fucking owns 18,000 stores worldwide. And one of those 18,000 stores, 2 are located in Lodi, and they ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So
we'll keep them open.
Did you confirm Lodi's not shutting down?
I did. I was off the other day and I was a little stoned. So I said, let me go to the Dollar Tree and purchase a couple snacks. And I happened to catch the manager. You know what I'm saying? And again, me being a U.S. citizen, I'm more open to talk to people and converse with them compared to before. I always thought, the Negro was going to get me. So for some reason, it just mind fucked up. But so I caught the manager joking. I said, hey, man, you heard about the Dollar Tree closing? She said, yeah, I heard about it. They sent a little memo on it, but has nothing to do with this store. We just opened this store, and this store is super successful because I see it. The Dollar Tree right now is the only store that still has pre-COVID supermarket vibes. What I mean is people are in aisles, people are pushing each other. It's lovely in there.
There's still scuffles.
The scuffles.
Yeah.
So,
Car crashes.
Car crashes. People are fighting over the Colgate tubes. It's lovely in there, man. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to those things. But unfortunately, so the Dollar Tree used to be $1. Now it went up to $1.25. When this happens, you will go up to $1.50, which is still under $2. And there's going to be a couple products because they had to shut down whack ass Family Dollar. Now they got to incorporate those $5 to $7 prices and some of the things in the Dollar Tree, but still 90% of their product is still going to be $1.50 or less. So don't worry about a thing, people. Unfortunately, some people are going to be let go because of this unfortunate thing. But again, they did the right choice of getting rid of those Family Dollars because those motherfucking stores are bullshit. I'm tired of walking in there. I got $2. I want to buy something to drink, and the shit is $2.25. You know, so there you go, man.
All right,
What y'all think?
Let me just say this. From my perspective, I do think that there is a huge use for the Dollar Tree stores.
Yes.
And I think they come in very handy for some stuff. You got to know what you're buying.
Exactly.
I will counter you on the quality of those products being just like the regular price stuff. I will say that it's like the swag version of everything, but
It'll do.
You know,
Whoa.
it'll do when you're broke.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'll do.
Well, that's the thing. The swag products is Family Dollar. They're the ones that got the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, some of them. I mean, if you're gonna go there and get some a glass or some shit, yeah, one tap and that shit is gone. You know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna go get, shit that I get laundry detergent, toothpaste. You know what I'm saying?
But you don't feel like the laundry detergent, like some guy just kind of spit in a bottle, shook it up. With some water.
It's still gain. It's still the same gain. Because that's the thing. One element that I didn't focus on the story. Investors like Gain, whoever creates Gain, Colgate, their smaller products are the ones that come straight from the manufacturer to the Dollar Tree. The more condensed one, like when you go to Stop and Shop or whatever, they have the travel pack. So those travel pack sizes are coming straight from the manufacturer. Yes, you're 100% right. There is a bunch of bullshit in there that you fuck around and buy, and it's not going to work. Ibuprofen, all that shit, I wouldn't recommend it. Your knees are going to be swelling. You ain't going to feel no pain. You're going to pass out. No. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, still fuck with the Dollar Tree, baby.
All right. Well, sad to see 1,000 stores?
1,000 stores.
1,000 stores go. But hey, it's a story.
Pow.
Bring back Woolworth, man.
Oh,
I think we got one more
let's
story
go.
on deck.
Yeah, I wanted to get back in the horror cut, man. It's been a while
strong.
since we've talked about horror,
Scary shit.
I found a movie that I'm kind of excited to peep because I'm hearing some hype about the lead actress's performance. That's Sydney Sweeney.
Let's go.
Who is kind of blowing up right now. She was in The White Lotus. She was in Euphoria. She was in a comedy called Anyone But You. That's the first romantic comedy to gross $200 million in like 5 years since Crazy Rich Asians. So she's blowing up. And she was on SNL last week and she promoted a horror movie I hadn't heard about.
Let's go.
It's called Immaculate. And once I started looking into it, apparently she kills it in this role. And she's wanted the role for 10 years, which I thought was dope. The original script was about a high schooler going to a boarding school in Italy. Now, that was getting made over 10 years ago. And she auditioned for it back then and was in the final 2 for it. But something fell apart. Like, things fall apart. The movie didn't get produced. And she says that she spent all this time, she would always ask, like, are they making that movie? So at this point, she started her own production company. She produced that movie, Anyone But You, which is a huge success. And while she was looking for movies to make, they were looking for a horror role. And she said, I know this movie from 10 years ago. So she went and got a script that had been completely defunct. The writer had left Hollywood. And she produced it herself with one of the producers from White Lotus, which is a really good show, and a director who's worked with her on multiple projects. So the chemistry is there. And what really caught my attention was in a Den of Geek interview, one of the interviewers said her performance goes to Nick Cage levels.
Oh, is that good?
As a TFP fan, I think you should know Nicolas Cage is a godlike performer, man. Nick Cage has more iconic performances than anyone, man.
Yeah.
Or not anyone at all, but he's up there with the greats.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's got some good performances, but he also has some pretty wacky ones.
Well, wacky is the good in horror. That's what we're looking for.
Is that are they saying she goes that deep?
She's going that crazy. Yeah, she let it go. She cut loose. She lost her shit. Which, if you can reach Nicolas Cage, matching Nick Cage is some shit. I'm really looking forward to seeing if she can catch that wave and those vibes.
Well, listen, it sounds interesting. I want to peep it out.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is that she went and bought the script, or got the script herself, produced it herself, and kind of. It was a project she really wanted to be a part of, and she got her team together. Everything about it is like, this sounds like a passion project, so I'm always interested in that. Yeah,
speaking of movies, let me throw this one out there, which I just watched, which was Poor Things. Poor Things, I had saw the preview, and it looked wacky. I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. Then I watched it, but picture Frankenstein on LSD in Alice in Wonderland, like straight down the rabbit hole. It was like a mix of that, and there was a lot of kind of hidden messagey stuff in there. But the movie overall, I thought was really good. The cast is fantastic. It's starring Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, and William Dafoe. There's a couple other people in there, but those were the three mains. And Emma Stone killed it, man. I mean, the storyline is fantastic. It's very trippy and out there. So if you're not into wacky kind of movies like that, you won't like it. But if you are open-minded, it's excellent. It's worth watching. Storyline is amazing. And like I said, she kills the role. She spends a lot. It's a little raunchy. She spends a lot of the movie naked. So
yes.
There's a lot of sex, Johnny. You'll love it. Actually, you'll probably love it. Emma's naked for like 50% of the movie.
Jesus. I saw a picture of the the chicken French bulldog thing.
You saw that? Yeah, they have like weird animals where it's like ridiculous. A dog head on top of like a duck's body and like all these crisscross animals, and that's what I mean by like Alice in Wonderland. It's really, really wacky. But good show.
Get it.
Speaking of good shows, should we give a shout out to
Shogun?
Shogun.
Who needs to be watching Shogun? Make sure that
let them know.
Get support.
Yeah, if you're not watching already, you should be watching Shogun. Shogun has been worth all of the hype. It's lived up to it.
100%.
Every episode to me has just been fire, followed by fire, and I'm excited every week waiting for the next one.
Nice.
Yeah, I was telling these guys, I think the third episode I put up there with some of the best. Like the top, I still have a certain series of favorite episodes of anything.
How many episodes
True
they
Detective with the one shot was the best.
4 or 5.
4 or 5?
I think the 5th one comes out this week. Maybe the 6th. But the third episode was just like watching a movie. It was really great.
Epic.
How they did it.
Should I reactivate my Hulu account earlier than April?
Maybe.
It's only a month early.
Is there a sale?
Now you know what I do is because I got so many subscriptions. Some of them I suspend them if they don't have any good series that I'm watching. Like I was more for like the Wu-Tang Saga. Since that stopped, I kind of suspended it and then reactivated something different, Paramount. So I'll be hearing about Shogun and I'm like, let me give it a couple episodes, and then in April my Hulu reactivates. And then by then I'll probably have 6-7 episodes, so I could just bench watch that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it's worth it. Definitely check that out.
It looks good, man. I like what's my man's name? My man that played Scorpion. He's probably one of the main characters, right?
Yeah, he's like the main dude that works with it's about the first Englishman to make it to Japan, and he's a general leader, a daimyo.
Yeah, bro, I like that dude.
That works with him. And they've got cool interactions. He's killing it. He's
he don't fail, bro.
His acting.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's the one who's in line to become the Shogun.
Yeah, he's probably the Shogun in the future by the end of this.
Oh, Shogizzy.
But anyway, that is a wrap for what we have on stories today. You guys got anything you want to shout out before we dip and slide out of here?
Yo, shout out to everyone that keeps peeping us. You know what I'm saying? Still with us, subscribed. been rocking with us. If you just clicking on the IG story, if you go into our YouTube page, shout out to you. Keep it rocking, keep it going. Your boy jhanboom. Happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. Pow.
Remy?
Happy St. Patty's Day, and yeah, thank you for listening or checking us out. Appreciate everyone.
Yeah, and if you've been tuning in regularly, March has been a little bit light in posts. I'm still posting the long episodes every week, but I haven't posted as many shorts. But in about 2 weeks, starting in April, that is going to change.
Yeah, be patient, bitch.
There's going to be a nice run with a lot more content coming more frequently very soon.
Get her.
Thank you. Happy St. Patty's Day and peace.
TFP, the fan's perspective.